if you are child-free, sometimes all you have to know is that you would be a good mother. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself, if I had kids, I would be the best mom. And you would have confidence in that. And then choose to not have children.
Don't worry, if I was a doctor, I'd be a great one. Therefore, I don't need to pursue it. I already know I'd be great at it. When I say that, it sounds ridiculous, right? That's because it is. You can't just lie to yourself that you would be great at a thing in order to justify yourself not pursuing that thing. That's called coping. So one thing I have noticed being a guy in his mid to late 20s is that women today don't want kids. And I don't mean that they want kids but at a later date. I mean they openly express on the very first day you meet them they never want to have kids. Now, that is a problem, and I'm not gonna pretend like it's not. And though I am not gonna bore you by going super into depth about why it's a problem, I will put it pretty simply. The people of this country are not replacing themselves with babies, and so over time we will see a dramatic drop in the population. I know some people have this weird idea that the planet is already overpopulated, but it really isn't. At least not in these Western countries, but even places like Japan have a birth rate below replacement level. But what makes this a bad thing is that there will be more people going into retirement than there will be people in the workforce. Less people will be around, and so the fewer able-bodied young people will have to support a larger population of retired older people, both on a financial and a physical level. This means longer hours and less cushy jobs for the native population, because if everyone is working a office job or even some online job, who will be working agriculture? Who will be stocking the shelves? Who will be driving trucks? Who will be working on the power grid and the oil rigs? You know, who will be doing the actual tasks that make this country run? There really are only two ways to remedy this issue, and the first is pretty simple. You just have a lot of babies. The second is you import a lot of people from foreign countries to make up for the lack of people in your workforce. But when you do this, your country is subject to change on a religious, cultural, ethnic, and linguistic level. So this type of population decrease is going to be a destabilizing force one way or another in the near future if nothing changes. That is for sure. But then that begs the question, what is making women not want kids anymore? I came across this X post that says no one talks about how the single biggest contributor to this growing trend of women not wanting children is moms, fear-mongering and complaining about how awful motherhood is on social media. Now, we are gonna watch this video together, but before I do, I want to quickly address this text. I'm not sure how much of this is the single biggest contributor, but I do agree that it is a contributor. And here's why. It takes action to have a kid, unlike choosing not to have one. I know that might sound obvious, but think about it for a second. Any woman on the fence, unsure if she wants to have kids or not, will be swayed easier by people complaining about being parents than by people even posting about how being a parent is the greatest thing they ever did. If they choose not to have a kid, their lives stay exactly the same. But entering into parenthood is a life-changing endeavor. Therefore, it is always going to be far more difficult to encourage people to enter into parenthood than to encourage them not to. This also comes down to something called confirmation bias. It is hardwired in the human brain to have kids, and so if someone is already on the fence, that pretty much means they have been halfway convinced for whatever reason that having children is a burden. Half the battle is already lost, and for them to hear from other parents that it's such a horrible and difficult thing to be a parent, then it makes them feel more justified in not wanting them. And so I do want to agree with this person at least a little bit from the outset, because I don't think these kinds of posts are just warnings for people to get prepared for having kids. Instead, it's actually just turning more people off of having them altogether, since it is the far easier choice out of the two. But let's get into the video.
If you are debating having children, please stop and listen. My dream since I was a little girl was to have a baby. I wanted to be a mom.
Okay, so based off of the face she makes right in the beginning, you can already tell what kind of video this is going to be. This woman is clearly not in the correct headspace to be making a video. She is visibly frustrated with her child, which makes you wonder how much of what she is about to say is coming from a rational place. Also, why didn't she just wait until the baby was taking a nap? Wouldn't that have been the easier choice? Well, This was obviously an intentional decision from the beginning to record right when the baby was fussing. Did she feel like this would get the point across better? Or was she just making an impulsive decision because she was frustrated already with her baby and she thought by venting her frustration to random people on the internet, it would make her feel better? I believe it's the latter. It looks to me like she was already having a difficult time trying to get the baby to calm down, and so she decided to whip out her phone and start rambling. This is nothing but an attempt at mining for pity points. Rather than attending to her child, she's gonna film a TikTok video about how difficult it is to be a mother.
All I ever wanted was one little girl, and I was going to name her Harley, and my dream was going to be, that was it. That was the dream. I actually was given my dream. I married everything I ever put on paper for a guy that I would want. He's that and more. And then I get pregnant, and I have a daughter. I have a girl. Oh my God. Dream come true. I was like, this is great. Because I've only really ever wanted one child, and I wanted just one girl. And I was like, well, thank you, God. I regret making being a mom my dream. And I wish that I did not have that as a dream.
Could you imagine being this woman's child? Growing up, seeing this video, knowing damn well that your own mother regrets having you? Or could you imagine being this woman's husband and hearing her say this? Imagine this being the mother of your child and she's saying to random people on TikTok that she wishes she never had your kid. To me, she comes across as extremely ungrateful. She said that her husband is her dream guy and that she was given her dream child, and then turns around and spits in everyone's faces saying that it wasn't good enough. This video is extremely disrespectful to her husband and her child. I understand the benefit of venting your frustrations, but if she's gonna do that, she should be doing it with someone trustworthy and in private. If she wants to make a video about the reality of motherhood, she shouldn't be doing it while she's already irritated with her own baby and the baby's crying. Like I said, she's doing this for pity points, nothing else.
I have been severely disappointed with the dream. And my daughter is the cutest, most beautiful.
There's that face again. I don't know if it bothers you guys as much as it bothers me. To me, it's like she's saying, see how much I hate this thing? Like, yeah, we get it. This is honestly hard to watch. I mean, some women end up killing their own children when they get frustrated like this. So it actually worries me that this woman is not that far off when she's looking at the camera with that demonic grin.
Fun, smart little girl, and I love her more than anything on this planet. I would give my life for her in 2 seconds. I would do it all over again for her 1,000,000 times over. All of that is facts. But what also is a fact at the same time is I was dreaming of a life that I had no idea what it was about.
I don't know how on one hand you can say that you love your baby and that you would give your life for her, but in the very next breath, tell everyone that you wish you never had her and that you are disappointed with your life because of her. When most people say that they would give their life for something, they typically mean that they would die for that thing. But here's the issue with that. Dying is easy, and dying on behalf of someone else really doesn't do any good. Giving your life for someone should mean that you are willing to live your life for that person, meaning you are willing to do whatever it takes on behalf of them, even if it means living the rest of your life sacrificing simple pleasures in order to take care of them. See how she wants to sound virtuous by saying she's willing to die for her child, but doesn't want any of the difficulties of actual dedication? It's really an empty sentiment so that people on the internet don't see her as an awful mother. Also, what does she think life is? Life is not only sunshine and rainbows. Everything good in life comes with sacrifice. Whether you're sacrificing your time or you're sacrificing your money, nothing in life comes easy. So I don't understand what she thinks a dream is. This might be a reality check for some people watching right now. You might have a dream job in mind, but I can promise you that if you ever do acquire that dream job, there will be some days you wake up and you would rather do something else. Sometimes literally anything else. I love doing YouTube. I love making videos, but there are days when I'm starting to write an outline for a video or I'm getting ready to film and I'm just not feeling it, but I do it anyways. A lot of people will tell you that being a parent parent is equivalent to having a second job. Sometimes it's their primary job. In this woman's case, it's supposedly her one and only job. Does she think that there weren't ever going to be difficulties along the way? If that's the case, she should have just dreamed of a tub of ice cream and a couch to lay down on. That should have been her only dream, because it sounds to me like she wanted a life free of hardship. She got her dream man and she got her dream child, and now she has to work to maintain it. Welcome to reality, sweetheart.
It's not just a few moments of like, no, don't do that. A few smelly diapers, and you're just gonna have this happy-go-lucky fucking family. No, that's not reality. That's not real life. You know what is real life? Me being at home, thinking that being a stay-at-home mom was a dream, and I actually was given the opportunity. And now we're in a position where I don't really have a choice but to stay home with her right now. It's temporary. It's temporary, thank God. But being a mother is the most draining experience of your life. It changes every single person around you. Every single person around you. Every single friend, every family member, the relationship with your husband, the relationship with yourself.
As I just stated, her dream was to have a burden-free life. That just isn't reality. Nothing in life is perfect all the time, and yes, having a kid does affect the people around you. No, you won't be able to see your friends all the time anymore, but you know what? If your friends had babies, yours and your friends' babies would be able to play together, and you would have even more of a reason to see your friends. So maybe instead of trying to discourage women from having kids, you should be actively trying to encourage your friends to have them. Just a thought. I know some people won't like the sound of it, but it is what it is.
I am so fat. I don't recognize myself at all. I was so much more fit before I had her. I was geared the fuck in. None of my clothes fit me. My husband works a lot more than he used to. So spending time with him, it's not like it used to be. We are in bed the latest at 9 o'clock every day.
I have seen many women in my life lose their pregnancy weight very quickly after having their children. I don't think you can always blame the pregnancy weight on your baby. How many times a week do you think she puts the baby in a stroller and goes for a walk? How many times a week do you think when the husband gets home, she packs a gym bag and goes to the gym? How many times a week do you think she snacks at home with her baby? I'll let you guys in on a little secret about my life. My mother became a model for a multi-million-dollar corporation only a few months after having my older brother. I know that sounds like cap, but I swear to you it isn't. You have to have a bit of self-control, and you have to have a bit of discipline, but you don't have to keep the pregnancy weight for long if you don't want to. She acts like weight is something that is impossible to get rid of when you have a child. It isn't. The weight you put on during pregnancy is no different than the weight someone puts on just by being lazy and eating junk food. Therefore, you just get rid of it the same exact way. Diet and exercise. It's not complicated.
The world is the most terrifying place that it's ever been in for us as a country. And the thought that I can't do whatever I have to do to survive because I have her and I need to make sure that she survives, and I'm terrified of what her future is going to look like.
No, the fuck it literally isn't. Hey, lady, have you ever heard of the Civil War? How about World War II? This world and this country have been in much worse circumstances before. At this point, she's just grasping at straws, trying to come up with any single justification for her feelings about wishing she never had a child. Watch, as she doesn't even begin to elaborate about how this is the most dangerous time, she will just rattle off more nonsense, trying to hide from the reality that she just wants to go back to having zero responsibilities.
I can't take a shit by myself. I can't eat when I want to. I can't go out and just get a Dunkin' whenever I want to. I can't film a video whenever I want to. I can't scream whenever I want to. I can't go to dinner whenever I want to. And let me explain this, because if someone were to tell me that with how bad I wanted children, I would have just said, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. I love my future baby more than anything in the world. I want to make that sacrifice. You don't know what you don't know.
Everything she listed off just now are things that I could say about literally any job. How many of you watching can leave your job whenever you want to go grab a coffee? How many of you watching can whip out your phone and start filming a TikTok or randomly scream at the top of your lungs when you're at work? Most jobs have scheduled lunch and break times. Outside of those scheduled breaks, it's expected that you are working. The only thing that is different is that she said she can't take a shit by herself, but even that's just bullshit. You don't have to take your daughter into the bathroom with you. If she has a crib, put her in the crib for a few minutes. She'll be fine. That is something I have never understood about some of these mothers. They feel like the baby has to be in sight at all times. No, you don't have to take your baby into the bathroom with you. And if you start getting frustrated because the baby won't stop crying, guess what? You can go into another room for a few minutes to calm down. Especially when the baby is really little before they start to crawl, you can plop them in between the couch cushions and they won't go anywhere, I promise. Basically, where you leave them is where they will be when you come back. Obviously, having a baby is different than having a job because the baby never leaves. It's like having a job that you're punched into 24/7 and don't get paid for. I'm actually in favor of mothers being paid to stay at home with their kids, at least until the kid hits kindergarten age. I know that sets me apart from most conservatives because they don't tend to like welfare or social programs, but I think if we weren't wasting so much money on other bullshit, we'd be able to invest in our own people for a change. But I'm just a silly guy with a YouTube channel, so what do I even know? But even still, she has a loving husband who is supporting her. He is currently paying all the bills, paying for all the food, paying for all the other household supplies. Her payment is that she gets taken care of financially while she gets to look after her own offspring. Is that not payment enough? I guess not.
You thinking that sacrifice, all of those things, isn't going to change you. And not just change you for good. Like, some of parts of me have changed for the worst, okay? I wish I got it earlier, okay? I wish I just had the click earlier that this isn't a life path that I have to take as a woman. If you are child-free, sometimes all you have to know is that you would be a good mother. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself, if I had kids, I would be the best mom. And you would have confidence in that. And then choose to not have children. I am trying to save you. Dream bigger. Dream bigger. Do not try to make the family that you've always wanted. Don't even do it. Don't do it.
It seems like as this video progresses, the mask just slips more and more. She started off this video saying that she loves her child and that she would do anything for her, and now she's just outright telling childless women not to have kids. Also, you just gotta love her use of child-free instead of childless. It really does show how much of a burden she views her own kid. She is also encouraging women to lie to themselves that they would be a good mother in order to give themselves a false sense of confidence without earning it. If you think that you have to lie to yourself by telling yourself, yeah, I would be a good mother, as a way to make yourself feel better about not being a mother, then you would objectively be a shitty mother. Good mothers understand the sacrifice they are making and they do it selflessly. They don't cry about how difficult it is on the internet for the entire world to see, and they don't give themselves a false sense of confidence in order to avoid responsibility. Don't worry, if I was a doctor, I'd be a great one. Therefore, I don't need to pursue it. I already know I'd be great at it. When I say that, it sounds ridiculous, right? That's because it is. You can't just lie to yourself that you would be great at a thing in order to justify yourself not pursuing that thing. That's called coping.
Go travel, bitch. Go be hot. Go create your family with friends and experiences and yourself and your spirituality and nature. Because, hot take, it's not worth it. My child is the best thing in the world and I love her so much, but I hate how much I love her. I hate the things that I know that I'm capable of doing to protect her. And especially in the state of the world right now, bitch, don't do it. I am terrified for her future every day. It is not worth it. It is not worth it. Do not have children. Do not do it to yourself. There is no return receipt. There's no. She is almost 9 months old and I am still in the trenches. In the fucking mental trenches, okay? The rage I have inside of me, the depression and the wanting to I have inside of me. even with a supportive partner, even with a person that's your help, that's your village sometimes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It still fucking sucks. Because a baby, for many, 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 many years, not just a newborn, for many years, bitch, they are a parasite. And that means that they will not only suck every fucking thing of your energy, but they will also suck every ounce of your soul from your body.
So it seems to me that this woman is experiencing postpartum depression, and I think it's obvious for anyone who understands what postpartum depression is. This is extremely unhinged behavior. No one typically refers to their child as a parasite on video while stating that she's having suicidal thoughts. The flippant attitude she's expressing shows that this video is nothing more than a cope session. You can also see the mood swings in real time, which means that every emotion she's expressing is temporary. She's experiencing a transient state of emotion, and yet she's encouraging women online to make permanent decisions like never having children. Having children is the most natural thing a human can do, and yet she's acting like it's the Holocaust. She's acting like she will never recover and that she was tricked into doing it. I think the biggest problem here is that you have a bunch of childless women in the comment section gassing her up, rather than telling her, hey bitch, you need psychiatric help. I'm serious, it's like 99% childless women who are agreeing with her in her comment section. Eventually, she'll probably come to her senses on all of this and realize just how ridiculous she looks. But these women in her comments that chose never to have kids are just gonna continue to feel vindicated in their decision.
And I would do it for her. But I'm not ever doing it again for a non-existent child. No, I know better now. I'm smart. I will never do it again. So, listen, there's other people that are going to detest me, I'm sure, in the comments. There'll be people that agree with me. I'm just saying, my viewpoint matters here. I'm a mom of a 9-month-old. I'm 30 years old. I waited. I did everything right. And it's still the hardest thing I've ever done. And it still fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. Most of the time it sucks.
She waited until she was 30, and yet she thinks that she did everything right. Really? Maybe she was given the wrong advice early on if she believes that the correct time to have a child is at the ripe old age of 30.
I'm angry and tired and annoyed and depressed and fat more times than I am happy. I'm happy when she's smiling, when she's laughing. I'm happy in those moments. And then every other moment I'm miserable. So, don't do it. Especially with the climate right now in the world. Do not do it.
And once again, no elaboration on what she means by the climate of the world, more grasping at straws in order to avoid the real issues here, which are 1, she has untreated postpartum depression, and 2, she wants to go back to having no responsibilities. Look, parenting is hard, I'm not gonna lie. It will test you. It will be uncomfortable. It's a total change from your adolescent years of being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. But nothing gives your life more purpose than selflessly sacrificing one's time and pleasure on behalf of someone else. And there is no one more worthy of your sacrifice than your own children. It seems like men understand this a lot better than women do these days. Men will go work on an oil rig, in a coal mine, on a roof hundreds of feet above the ground in the middle of summer, just to provide for their families. Men will beat themselves up with the most intense labor jobs imaginable just to make sure that their kids have a new set of clothes, food in their bellies, and Christmas presents under the tree in December. And this woman is freaking out because now she doesn't get to film a TikTok video whenever she wants. Give me a break. I'm not saying that being a parent is for everyone, and I'm not saying that being a parent is the only thing that will bring you satisfaction in this life. But what I am saying is that this woman's entire mindset has been wrong from the very beginning of this video. She thought that just because one day she dreamed of having a child, that it would come to her without suffering or sacrifice. But the harsh truth is that everything in life involves suffering. Everything in life involves sacrifice. And if you don't think that being 70 years old, seeing the faces of your children and your grandchildren, laughing and playing at family gatherings, seeing the entirety of the family that you and your spouse built together will make it all worth it in the end, then I'm not sure what will. But feel free to let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Peace.